She wasn't clumsy like I was. She knew how to work it from her position. Isn't that so amazing?
That sounded like a sex thing.
How did that... Stop it!
I'm sorry!
Now you're forcing it to be a sex thing. This is becoming that horse thing all over again. Okay, I don't like this one.
What?
Why did she have to die? The title. Dear Diary, you always forget how terrible it is to cry yourself to sleep until it happens. It's just the ultimate feeling of helplessness. But what's new there, right? I just miss her. Even if she scared me, I miss her so damn much. Jehua was the only one who was sympathetic to me. Why did she have to die? Is that my fate? Anything that just makes whatever short life I have left bearable must go? Fate hates me, I've decided. I don't know what killed her. I overheard one of the servants saying it was the doctor. It was saying that the doctor claimed it was too much worry causing an excess of wood in the spleen.
What?
Which he claimed to be common in oversensitive women. Okay. Too much wood in the spleen.
Too much wood in the spleen.
You worry so much you just grow wood right in your spleen.
Legitimate wood.
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 Wood. I was baffled by the absurdity at the time. I still am now. My only friend is dead, and her diagnosis is absolutely insane. What do you even say to something like that? Well,
Oh yeah, you see, I've been feeding my wife wood. I mean, all the respectful husbands give their wife wood. Oh dear God, no!
No, not that kind of wood, sir. No, it's a euphemism. It's for something in your pants.
It's trouser
And
snake.
thus we've hit the sex thing. Well,
Oh
I
my
guess
fucking.
it's not like I need to worry about knowing what to say. Because she's mute. I get it. But in light of that, it doesn't surprise me that nobody ever believed I was sick. With medicine that stupid, why would they?
Man, you seriously need the doctor.
All it does is reinforce how hopeless everything is. I just constantly wonder, why did my father, or my own doctor, think that people would be smarter in the future, that medicine would be better?
Well, in all honesty, it is the future. I mean, anyone would.
Like, it'd probably be better like 5 years in the future, and not like... not
Fucking.
hundreds of years where now they're thinking about wood in the spleen.
Hey, what happened
If
to your
you
wife?
worry too much... Alright, that's where we gotta like go back. When we go back to the regular call, just gotta speak to Angry, say like, Angry, you don't worry so much, you're gonna get wood in your spleen.
He's just gonna be confused as fuck until he sees the video.
Which
Then he's
won't
like,
be for a while.
oh.
My
dick.
servant has been helping me get through all the funeral stuff well. I mean, she's been guiding me through the rites. Practically doing them for me, really. I'm so weak and so stunned. I don't even know how I've been getting out of bed. I couldn't describe any of the ceremony. It's all a blur. There's been lots of black dress, I suppose. That's my only impression. And crying. Lots of crying. For me.
Trying.
Aw. Her only friend just died, LG.
Incredibly awful. Let's kill everyone on the ship!
Look, please, do you trust me? I'll try. Please understand my position at the time. My world was so small, and I just lost my only friend. And then I'll give you my last 2 diary entries. They have the whole story. Just, please don't judge me while you read them, please.
Too bad.
I'm sorry, I had to judge you about the whole sleeping with a 40-year-old thing and enjoying it. I don't.
You don't.
I don't really have anything to add to that. She didn't deserve to die, jeez. Excess of wood. What is that even supposed to mean?
What do you think it's supposed to mean?
Excess of wood. She had too much sex. Get that through your mind. And stop sleeping with the guy. Shit, LG.
What?
We completed block 6.
Oh.
Back to hell. Dear Diary, this sounds so pathetic to say. I've tried rewriting this a million times just to make it sound less pathetic for me, and I simply can't. There were 2 things that made life worthwhile. 2 things that made this last year before I die bearable. The first was Jehua's company, being the only person that was friendly to me. The second is sharing a bed with my husband.
Oh my.
For the past 2 months,
Oh.
that's what I've been saving all my energy for. That brief, precious half hour every few nights where I feel fulfilled, if only in the most literal sense.
Oh,
It's the most lovely feeling, and now I've never feel it again. The 2 things making my last year of life worth living gone forever. Okay. So it's stopped because he's dead, unless she's sleeping with his dead body. Which I wouldn't doubt. 'Cause that's all she talks about. Oh, come on, I like last recording, like, everything was like, oh yeah, she's like this new girl back on the block, everything's all talked out to her, and then all of a sudden you saved her life by disabling the fucking bomb on the ship. Oh my god, you're amazing. And now it's like sex, 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 sex.
It pretty much is.
It
It's
just
pretty...
won't stop. Ah!
Well, you
Anyway.
just gotta believe.
Well, you know what? Now her friend is dead, and now the guy she's sleeping with is dead. What's gonna happen now?
Everyone's gonna die.
The past few nights, I've been trying to get the Emperor's attention in that way, pleading silently for his affection. Ah, now she's a puppy begging
Mother of...
for a bone,
Ew.
with no luck. On the 4th, or was it the 5th, day, he finally took me aside and said in painful annoyance in his voice, "Enough! Stop that! It's completely inappropriate." Well, thank you! Thank you! Thank you! Thank you!
That's hilarious.
Thank you!
That's incredibly fucking hilarious.
I love
Stop
this guy.
What
It's
do you
enough!
mean?
Stop that! It's completely inappropriate. What do you mean?
Never mind.
What?
No.
Good, I like
Never-
this guy. I like this guy now. He's sitting there like a 15-year-old girl being like, "Honey, sleep with me, I need sex." And he's just like, "No, stop. Calm yourself. Jesus."
Calm your tits.
Ah,
Literally.
you're supposed to be in mourning. Show some damn chastity, or do you have no respect for my wife and your queen at all? He snapped. When I looked confused, he just lectured me. When I cried, he sighed, held me tightly, and then left the room. Well, okay, that explains it a bit more then. When she died, and, you know, he's just like, "No, stop. My wife just died." See, this guy's got a heart. Now I know he's not just some heartless, you know, set-aside 40-year-old asshole.
Yeah, well, you still gotta remember. Wood in the fucking spleen.
Wood in the spleen!
Wood in the spleen.
I
What does that even mean?
I don't even. I
That's a
haven't spoken to him since. But later that day, my servant came to my room with good news. I was
He's dead.
to go visit my family for a couple months while the house is in mourning for Jehua. I couldn't argue, of course, even if I was able. So, just like that, I was sent back to hell. I was dressed in the usual veil, so nobody would see my face, as I was escorted back to the Kim house in the middle of the night. My mother and father were there, briefly to greet me, and in spite of how I felt about them, I put on my bravest smile and bowed, and nodded politely to their questions about how I was doing. Then they had to go back to bed and left, leaving me alone with my sister. Young Seok was nowhere to be seen. "Hi," she said. "I never thought you'd end up visiting us again so soon." I shrugged. "Well, let's have some tea." "It's just us still around," she said, and I nodded. It seemed like a good enough idea. There was a pause. "Well, go make it," she snapped, removing any doubt that she might treat me with any sort of friendliness. "Oh, well, yeah, okay, there you go. All right, nothing's changed." "Of course," I made the tea. I didn't disobey her anymore. "Thanks," she said. "So, young Silk is out, attending to official business at the moment, but you should avoid him. He's still angry at you because father-in-law finds you more important to the family than his own son. Can you blame him?" I had no idea what she was talking about, and she just continued. "So, you really shouldn't talk to him. Oh, I guess you can't really do that, can you?" "Well, you know what I mean." "Yes, I knew exactly what you meant." "I'm surprised you're back so soon, though. Especially now that you don't have to share your husband. Does that mean you're the primary wife now?" I didn't know. "Does that make you queen? Oh, what great fortune you have. Father-in-law must be so proud of you." I stared at her, wishing nothing more than just be able to kill her through sheer force of rage.
What?
How could she possibly say something so awful? My only friend was dead, and here she was taunting me. What an awful thing to do.
Let's kill everyone.
It's like, "Oh yeah, well, you know, your friend's dead. And make you primary wife? Oh, you must be the queen now. Father-in-law must be so proud of you. I want to murder you."
I understand now why she wants to kill everyone. Let's go on with it.
No,
What?
but I couldn't hate her to death, no matter
Yeah,
how much
you
I
can.
tried. So instead, I tried holding back angry tears to hide my weakness. I
What
couldn't
do you
do
mean
that
you
either.
can't hate her to death?
You can't hate people to death, LG.
Yeah, you've never tried, have you?
Just please keep reading. No, I haven't tried.
Well, try. It'll come to you sooner or later.
Well, you're still alive, aren't you?
Yeah, but you don't completely
I'll
truly
kill them
hate
all! That's the entry. That's the entry. That's the title right there. Right there. I'll kill them all! Dear Diary! I was far too feverish to do any real cooking, so my servant was doing all the work for me that night. When father came in, I think he was drunk or maybe just tired or stupid. "You know, child," he said to me, "you grew up to be a wonderful daughter." I was shocked to hear him say that and wave my servant out of the kitchen. I never heard even the slightest indication of that before. For the briefest moment, it even made me happy to hear that. That surprised me, that I actually felt that way. As a kid, I never would have wanted his approval, so why now? He continued to make me wonder when he asked, "Do you remember what you were like as a child?" I nodded, but I wasn't certain I did. "You were so temperamental! You argued all the time. You didn't want to get married, and when the time came, you just didn't ever know your place, you know? You just needed a good bone. I'm glad I sent you off to that emperor guy to go have sex with a 40-year-old man while you were 13. That's what I'm getting out of that. That's what I'm getting out of that.
Stop adding to it. It just
What?
sounds
This
awful.
Makes sense. Well, no, she was really temperamental, and then she just went over to this guy, and he was like, "Here, have my penis," and then she's like, "Oh,
When you say it that way, it just sounds so gross.
yeah." And I'm probably wrong. Anyway, that's right. I didn't. That was back when I thought there was a point to being defiant. Why was that, I wondered. That's the part that amazes me now. I tried to think of a reason why I might want to be defiant, why I valued independence, and at first, I couldn't even think of anything. I'd forgotten. I'd forgotten entirely. "Don't tell young Syuk, but it really scared me. You were always the family's best hope for prosperity, but that attitude of yours, I thought I'd never manage to disavow you to those crazy, uncivilized ideas of yours," he said while I tried to think of what they were. "There were times when I thought it was a mistake to have hatched you. But you came through. You really did." I know it must have been painful, but I'm proud of you. Then he patted me on the head. You turned out to be a good girl.
Let's kill him.
That's all I wanted to say. It was hard raising you to be a proper woman, but you've turned out perfect. Thank you, he said.
Let's kill him.
I stared, speechless, and I tried to remember what crazy uncivilized ideas was he talking about. Thinking back to those days and back to before I was frozen, I tried to remember. I had dreams of what adulthood would be. But they were so unimaginably different from what the reality turned out to be that they seemed impossible. Completely impossible. Nothing more than childhood fantasies without a shred of realism to them. I tried to think of what they were, to imagine them. In those dreams, I was strong, independent. I wasn't just a wife in those dreams. I had a job working as the ship's engineer, following in the footsteps of my father, my real father. I wasn't married in those dreams. I was happy just to go on dates with boys my age in the ship's plaza and to fall in love before making any commitments. I dreamed of being free. The more I thought about it, the more I was certain that's what those dreams were about. That's what I wanted. But Father, Kim Jong-soo, rather, had made sure to disavow me of those notions. I learned to stop arguing, to stop trying to fight, to stop dreaming of those things. In other words, I learned how to be a proper woman. And he was proud of that. Proud of destroying my dreams, and now I would die under the house of that man, silenced, broken, hopeless, and unloved.
Let's kill him.
I was overwhelmed by the strongest feeling I'd ever felt in my life, the deepest bitterness, the most powerful resentment I could imagine. I looked at that knife near my hand and wondered, could I kill him?
Let's do it.
Before I died, could I at least have justice? I tried to lift the knife. My hand twitched, and it was too hard to keep a grasp. I was just too weak. I'd never be able to do it. He smiled at me and said, "Sorry. Please go ahead and keep cooking. I won't distract you anymore." Then, just as he was about to go out the door, he added, "Take care of yourself." At that moment, I vowed that I would. I wouldn't worry any more about all those people who had hurt me. I'd take care of myself. I couldn't stab him to death. I was too weak for that. But then I remembered. There were other ways. If I disable life support, I can kill him. All those others too. It'll be quick, it'd be easy, and not a one of them don't deserve it. All I'd need to do is disable it is the admin password. It's perfect.
And she knows.